Okay, good evening, everybody. So, I really don't know if persons on YouTube can hear me, right? But then, if you're on YouTube and you can hear me, please kindly confirm that you can hear me. If you're on YouTube and you can hear me, please kindly confirm that you can hear me, right? So, today's class, we are going to get into it as fast as possible, right? So please, if you can hear me on YouTube, just put it in the chat that you can hear me so we can start. Please put it in the chat that you can hear me so we can start, please. Yes, good evening, Christiana. Welcome. Welcome. How was your day? How are you doing? Hope you are fine. Oh, thank you very much. You can hear me, right? So I guess like you're the only person who is here from the feedback I've seen on my screen, right? I think you're the only one that is watching now. I guess other people will join, but I think I have to start emphasizing it that African man time is not my style, right? The moment it's a certain time, I just need to get it done. So welcome. Thank you very much for always being punctual, right? Thank you very much for always staying committed to the process and for always coming on time. It means it shows so much about your person, right? Okay, Miriam, welcome. Thank you so much for your feedback. How are you doing? I really don't think I'm very familiar with your name, Miriam, but then I hope you're fine and I hope you've been good, right? Because some of the persons who have been consistent with class, I know them by their names. All right, so we're not going to waste time. I mean, I don't want to waste any time. So I'm just going to immediately go into sharing my screen because I just came back from work and it's been a long day already, right? So I'm just going to immediately get into the business of today so that we can um we can just get done with it for today, right? And I'm seriously sorry because I really don't know why StreamYard is dealing with me like this. I don't know why he's doing this thing to us, really, because being in a class and not getting or hearing voices, especially for a communication class, it's irritating me already, right? I want to know that people can ask questions just as we used to do when we started, right? Like people can ask questions, you can have all the interactions, you can always get people's feedback, you can know how they feel, what they feel, right? Just as I asked how your days went, I can get real life feedback. All of this whole texting in the chat box, I don't like it, right? So Miriam, you said your phone went bad. Sorry about that, right? Ensure that kindly ensure that you go through the recordings when it's available on our channel, right? So that you can be able to catch up because we're not going to be graduating people who cannot answer the questions I'm going to be asking you, especially if I know that you haven't been in class and I can't really vet the extent at which you've been able to be impacted by all we've taught, right? So it's going to do you a lot of good to go through our YouTube channel and see what we've done so far, right? And start working on the core issues you had when you joined the program and see the topics that address those issues, right? The few persons who have actually stayed committed to the process, their feedback actually gives us joy and makes us understand that what we're doing is not a total waste of our time and their time, right? So with no further ado, today is day 10 and we are looking at email and written communication, right? So this topic was supposed to be yesterday's topic, but I told us what happened yesterday, right? That I had to use a topic from another day for yesterday because this topic is a bit lengthy and it's wordy, like I mean wordy, like WORDLY, like it's word based, right? No too much graphics, just explanation. And coming from the fact that we already had an explanation based class, like the first class we had before the second class, right? I couldn't start doing any explanation again. So for today, we're looking at email and written communication. All right. So written communication or email communication rather is basically writing words, right? So when you text somebody, when you send your professional invoices, when you write emails, when you send your reports, those are written communication, right? We have verbal communication, we have written communication, and we have non-verbal communication, right? So written communication is basically the oldest form of communication that exists, right? It takes us back to the time of scribbling. Do you understand? That was how written communication started in far back as 19 I mean, even 19 BCs. Right? Written communication is the oldest form of communication. It is the first and the oldest form of communication. Now it has always transcended us and always lived with us, because in as much as verbal communication is important, written communication is the first and most authentic way of documentation, right? When you go to a law firm, they will tell you that verbal contracts are not contracts. And that's why if you have a case and they'll ask you, where is your proof? Where is your written document? Where is the evidence? How can we prove that this thing really happened? How can we prove that there's an agreement? And that's why when you're working with stakeholders or you're working with companies, right, they'll always tell you, oh, we're going to come through with an agreement, right? So when there's a breach in that agreement, that's when you can say that, oh, this company actually cheated me. Or when they keep to their agreement, you can say, oh, this company actually has integrity, right? So written communication has always been the highest and the most authentic way of validating a point. When you're making a case against any person and you present a signed document signed by them, you've had 50% possibility of winning the case, because it is proof. I told us that the faintest ink is better than the sharpest brain, right? As faint as that ink can be, it is better than the sharpest brain, because that faint ink can stand as an evidence in any law court. Take it anywhere in the world. As far as it is your signature and your handwriting, or it has your name, right? It can either put you in trouble or get you out of trouble. Why do you think that when you go to buy land, they'll tell you where are the documents? Because people don't trust verbal land. Okay, from here to here is my own, from here to the other side is my brother's own. It's not true. Those things don't exist, right? Nobody buys any property from that shit. You can't say, oh, if you mark here like this, now my own. My papa can't tell me, say, if you from here like this, now you stretch your hand 1 yard, that one na my own. It's a lie. It's not true. You don't have a land. Show us the evidence, right? Show us the proof. And so when you are working in a professional setting, it is very important that you know how to write, right? You know that in a professional setting, there are core or key types of writings that are very, very necessary. Now let's get into the template we have here. In the tech industry, clear and effective written communication is essential for collaboration, project documentation, and professional networking, right? Mastering email ethics and report writing helps you convey your ideas concisely while maintaining professionalism, right? So we'll be looking at the basics of professional emails, reports, and messaging. So today we are looking at professional emails, we are also looking at reports, and we are looking at messaging, right? But we are looking at them from the basics. What are the basics? What are they? How are they done? What are the do's and don'ts of all of these types of written documents, right? Now I'll take it again. In the tech industry, clear and effective written communication is essential for collaboration, right? How do you partner with companies? You partner with them through documentations, through written agreements, right? Project documentation. Oh, we went from milestone 1 to milestone 2. There is a document that shows that this thing has been done and it's been penned down, right? Professional networking. When you go for conferences, right? How do you network with people? How do you share documents? How do you share your professional portfolio? These things are networks, right? When somebody says, oh, can I see your portfolio, you send them a link to what you've done. These are you building your professional networks through documentation. Right now, mastering email ethics. I told us yesterday that there are ethics to everything when it comes to digital communication and physical communication, right? There are core ethics. Even in emails, there are ethics that guides these things. Right now, report writing. for every professional who is going to excel in any field, you must be able to give milestone reports, right? This is what we did from January till December 2024. This is what we're able to achieve as a company. This is what we're able to achieve as a department. This is what we're able to achieve as a team, right? Now, professional emails, reports, and messaging. What are these things? How can we inculcate them? How can we be better at them? The first one is professional emails. Emails are the most common form of professionally written communication. A well-crafted email demonstrates clarity, respect, and professionalism, right? Now, what are key components of a professional email? First of all, I want to believe that everybody on this call knows what an email is, right? An email are electronically sent messages, just as how you have your text messages, but these ones are sent via the internet, right? So I hope you understand what an email is, and I don't think there's anybody on this call that has not received an email or doesn't have an email account. Do you understand? But now, when you are crafting an email for a professional setting, how do you do these things? How do you stay at it? How do you make sure that you are operating within the foundations that keep these things professional? The first thing is your subject line. That's the after you impute to who, like who are you sending this message to? The next part that needs writing is the subject line, and every single one of us knows what the subject line of an email means, right? This is a brief description of what the email entails. Now, an example of a subject line is project update, 3 weeks project report, right? So you have project update, you have colon, then you have 3 weeks project report. So when the person sees it, they know that, oh, it's a project update, and this project update is for the past 3 weeks. Now, a subject line should be concise. Your subject line should not disappear from the heading of the mail. Are you writing the mail on the subject line, or you are writing the mail on the body, right? A subject line should be clear and concise, that it attracts or makes a person want to read it. This is how people that do copywriting, that's how they write, right? Clickbait. Do you understand? Clickbait. This is how they do it. They make sure that the heading is always very short, concise, and straight to the point. Do you get? So always ensure that your subject line is concise and descriptive. What is this email about? Now, I've given us an example here, project update, right? There's a colon, and then week 3 progress report. Once I see it, I know what to expect. Now, let's go to the next thing, which is greeting. Address the recipient appropriately. A lot of us don't know how to address people. I briefly touched on it in yesterday's class. You cannot text somebody that is not your friend, your brother, your team member, hi dear. Hi dear what? Right? The only places where you can use hi dear is somebody that you have built a working relationship with. This is somebody that either is your team lead, and it must have dived to a certain level. They won't employ you today and tomorrow you're texting me hi dear. Onto what now? Right? What's the strength of this relationship that you're putting there for me? So always know the strength of the relationship you have with somebody before you can address them. Most of the time, it's better to start with their name. Hi, Marigold. I hope this message finds you well. Straight to the point. But don't tell me hi, dear. Right? It doesn't make any sense. Now, if it's for somebody that you're not sure of their gender, you don't know if it's a man, a woman, you don't know, a random person, start with hi there. I told us yesterday, THERE, hi there. Right? So anybody that is at the back of this email, hi to you. Do you understand? But then the most professional way of writing is hi, Marigold. But if you don't know the recipient's name, of which I doubt, because the email is going to tell you, right? But if it's a company email and you don't know the recipient's name, that's who is going to be receiving this message. Probably you're going to send it to a company and you don't know who is going to be receiving it. Please keep it at hi there. And the there is THERE, not DEAR, not dear. Nobody's your dear in this business world, right? Now, the next one is your opening line. Start with a clear purpose, right? I hope this mail finds you well. That example of an opening line is, I hope this mail finds you well, right? First of all, it's not bad to say how are you doing, but how was your day? Hope you have eaten. Have you coughed? Have you blow your nose? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. right? So I hope this message finds you well. It's more like you're giving a general overview of their well-being. If it finds them well, good. If it finds them in the hospital, sorry. But then you just said, I hope it finds you well, because for you, you are giving a general expectation that it should find them well. But if it doesn't find them well, then your sincere apologies, right? Now you can continue by saying, I am writing to update you on, right, the week 3 progress report. Do you get? So if you say, I hope this mail finds you well, you put a full stop, then you continue with, I'm writing to update you on. Let the person know from the beginning what your email is all about, especially if it's a lengthy email, right? If your email is going to be lengthy, ensure that the person knows from the beginning what the thing is about, so that if it's an information they need immediately, they can actually segment some time to listen to it, or to read it rather. But if it's something that they would need to calm down and read, they just know from heads up that this thing, when I get home, I'll open it, right? Now let's talk about the body of your message. Now, one thing you need to understand about emails, right, is that they follow a linear pattern. Remember, I told us yesterday, a linear pattern is introduction, body, conclusion, right? It's not like other forms of writing that you can start with the problem and just, juggle it up. But emails always follow a linear pattern. There are no rule. It's not a rule of thumb, but most of the time, because you want to give the person a journey, you want to take the person through a journey, you're not pitching to the person, right? But even if it's a pitch deck, you don't pitch via emails. You can actually attach the link in a document format, and then the person can go and read the pitch. But an email that you want somebody to read and digest immediately, use a linear format. Start with an introduction, right? Give a body context and end with a conclusion. Do you understand? Now, in the body context, you have to ensure that you keep your paragraphs short and focused. Don't write and write and write and write, and one paragraph you're still writing. Don't overdwell on a particular topic. Right now, use bullet points for clarity when necessary. You can see from what we have here that there are bullet points. There are, indicators that, oh, we're talking about this now, we're breaking it into this. Now imagine that these bullet points were not here and everything is just a straight line altogether. You can't even know when we are talking about subject line. There is no indicator here that, oh, these things are different topics or different subtopics that we're trying to address. Imagine that these things were not here and we have to just have subject, greeting, opening line, body, key paragraph. No indicator that these things are different subtopics that we're addressing. It doesn't make the reading interesting. It doesn't make the person want to continue reading your document, right? So always ensure that you keep your paragraphs short and focused. Then use bullet points for clarity when necessary. All right, only use bullet points when necessary. Don't go and say because you want to do formatting, you now bullet point everything, and the person every paragraph has a bullet point. What are you sending arrows? Don't do that, right? So when it comes to the closing line, conclude with a call to action or a polite note. Right now, a call to action, most times for the people that received our email, we said reply this within a specific time frame, not later than this. That's a call to action, right? This is a call to action. You're telling people what to do, that between today and tomorrow, reply to this email. Otherwise, we're not going to take on this course with you, right? So that's what a call to action means. Right now, if you want to have a polite ending, right, can I do things like warm regards, best wishes, yours sincerely, cheers, and all of those things. But if you want to inculcate a call to action, always ensure that you give people what you want them to do, right? For instance, please let me know if you need any further detail. Do you understand? So probably you've done your milestone report, and after the milestone, you figured out that, oh, this person might want to ask a question. You can preempt them to want to ask you that question by saying things like, please let me know if you need any further detail, right? You can also say, please let me know if you need any assistance, especially if you are a company trying to onboard people. There are people who might not be technologically savvy, and so they need assistance. But then you have to make it known to them that there is room for asking for help, because some emails do not even encourage you to want to ask for help. Now, we have looked at professional emails, right? Let's look at formal email example, right? We have a formal email. What is a formal email? A formal email is an email you're sending to somebody that you don't have a personal relationship with, right? It's very formal, it's very official, especially for people that maybe you don't know them, and you're trying to like get a job with them, or you're trying to submit a request, right? Now, for formal emails, the subject can be proposal submission. Like I said, you're trying to submit a request. You wrote a proposal to a company and you need to submit it, right? Even when you're applying for a job, always ensure that application for the role of, do you understand? Give people a subject that helps them understand what your mail is about in a formal email context, even in an informal email. But formal emails are very, very by the book. It must follow a definite structure, right? Now, your subject can be proposal submission. This is the subject of a formal email. Right now, the body can be, the person's hi, and then the person's name. I'm writing to submit the attached proposal for your review. Please let me know if there are any additional details needed, right? Yours, best regards, yours, whatever. You can say best regards, Marigold, best regards, the Law Academy, best regards, anything. But always ensure that in your conversation, you keep it related to what your subject is about. Don't write subject, proposal submission, then in the body you are begging for money. What kind of proposal is that? It's not following the rule of the subject line, and it's not also following the rule of formal email writing, right? So what's the next thing? Informal / team emails. Now, what's an informal email? These are people that you built a soft relationship with, right? These are people that are your guys, your buddies, your friends. Now, the subject can be team meeting reminder, right? This is an informal email, and this is like a team email. You can also use this as a team email, right? Team meeting reminder. Oh, whenever they see it, okay, it's true. Should we then say we get team meeting? Okay, I don't even forget sef. Now your email reminds them that there's a team meeting, right? The body can be, hi team, just a reminder about tomorrow's meeting at 10 a.m. to discuss project updates. Please prepare your reports in advance. Cheers, Marigold. Do you understand? So always ensure that you understand the person you are writing to and the relationship that exists between both of you before you start using some writing styles, right? If you're writing to somebody that is not your friend or is not your relative, please always keep it short, concise, straight to the point. People don't have time. Attention span is dwindling every single day. Now, what's the next one looking about? We're looking at professional reports, right? Professional reports. Now, what are reports? Reports are basically a document that gives people an idea of the milestones you've covered or the steps that you took in achieving a particular deadline, right? So if the project is, I need you to be able to submit a detailed report on what you've learned for the past 2 weeks. Now you know that this thing is supposed to tell me the steps. Okay, in day 1, we learned overview of communication. Day 2, knowing your audience. Day 3, active listening. Day 4, non-verbal communication. Day 5, you have to give a step-by-step review of every single progress or every single step that it took from you to go from point A to point B. This is when you are doing a professional report, right? So if I come to tell us now, your assignment is going to be, give me a report on all we've learned in the past 10 days. You have to give me a detailed report. It's the same thing that you do when you're writing minutes. When you write minutes in a company, you're actually giving a report, but most of the time, a minute is actually summarized. It's not as detailed as a professional report should be. All right. Now, what makes up a professional report? Reports are used to present information, finding, or updates in a structured and formal way. Now, look at this: structured and formal. It has to be structured, it has to be formal. Now, what are the basic structures of a report? The first thing is a title page. Include the report title, your name, date, and organization if applicable. I'll take that again. In your title page, report on 10 days learning with the Law Academy. Now that is the title page, right? That's the report title. Submitted by Christiana. Date 10th December 2024. Organization, you are a student, so no need for organization. That's why I wrote if applicable, right? Now if you are doing it on behalf of your company or on behalf of a company that you're freelancing for, then you can add organization by the Law Academy. Now I hope that process is very clear. Now, executive summary, a brief overview of the purpose, key findings, and recommendations. Give an executive summary of the report itself. Give an executive summary. What's the executive summary? Executive summary, like the name implies, is a brief, concise, but professional description of the purpose, your key findings, and recommendations. It's more like you are summarizing the report. Now, your introduction, right? Define the scope, objectives, and background of the report. Now you have to define, what is this report about? What are the objectives of this report? And what is the background of this report, right? These things are things that you have to consistently practice it for you to be able to master it. Now, when also dealing with professional reports, you have to look at the body. This is where you talk about the main idea. Now, use headings and subheadings to organize sessions. Because reports are naturally lengthy documents, you always have to make sure that so that people don't lose their thought. It's very, very annoying when you are reading a document that doesn't have a beginning and an end. Now, with reports, you know that people want facts. So use present data, right? Use analysis and findings. Always present data. That's why it's a report. Okay, I got onboarded as the media communications manager for the Law Academy. When I got onboarded, we had 10 followers. Between January 2024 to December 2024, we've been able to have 84 followers. This is how we measured our traction. This is how we could, create conversion. This was how we translated them into students and loyal customers. Always include data. That's why it's called a report, right? Now, your data can also be visuals like charts or tables or graphs. Know the one that is best applicable to the report and include it, because you're trying to have somebody move on a journey with you. I can pick up your report and even if I wasn't part of the project, I can understand the project. Because most of the time, people will write reports that people cannot understand, and then they have to call you to come and explain the report. So if probably the person you are writing to is not in the same organization with you, are you going to go to their company to explain it for them? You can't do that. So you have to always make sure that you include all the necessary detail. Write it as it should be written. When you are trying to report as to what you've done at the Law Academy, ensure that you tell us, okay, in day 1, this is what we did. This was what I learned. Day 2, this is what happened. This is what happened. Day 3, like that. It's a sequential, structured format of communicating progress. Reports are a sequential, structured format of reporting progress. Except you were directed otherwise. Probably the person that needs the report would say, keep it brief, keep it short. Don't give me the details. Just give me something I can document. Then that's fine. But if you are to make it professionally done, always ensure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. Right now, the 5th one is your conclusion and your recommendation. Summarize insights and suggest next steps. Right? When you summarize or you've written everything that happened within the milestone, summarize it, and then you suggest the next step. Now, for us to be able to move to Q2, or for us to be able to transition to 2025, this is what I feel we need to improve. That's why it's a report, because you have first-hand experience as to things and you were able to see how what you didn't do and what you did affected the company negatively or positively. Now, from those details you've gathered, you can make informed decisions, right? From the details you've gathered, you can actually make informed decisions. Now, informed decisions means knowing that from a place of knowledge, I can tell us that, oh, we have better traction on LinkedIn. Unlike when you just create all your social media platforms and you don't know which one is going to perform better. Now, having tested all these platforms, I can say that probably LinkedIn gives us the best traction. So we're going to focus more on LinkedIn. We're going to see how we can connect with other professionals on LinkedIn. We're going to see how we can invest more in sponsored adverts on LinkedIn, because we've tested all of these and this one gives us the traction that we need. So when you are summarizing, always ensure that you include your next step. Give a suggestion. Give a suggestion based on an informed process that you were part of. A report simply tells people that you are part of the process, that you did not just skip and probably use copy and paste method, that you are part of the process. Because if people read through your report, they can categorically tell that if you were there or not, if you were part of it or not. Because most of the time, we just jump into from the middle to the end. Nobody can actually tell how you started and how you ended. Always ensure that when you are giving your report, keep it detailed, like very detailed, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to call you back to ask you to start explaining your report. Please, I hope that it's clear, and if it's not clear, kindly put it in the chat. Right now, the sixth one when it comes to doing your report is appendix. That's if it's applicable. Add supplementary information like data tables or references. Now, appendix is simply, where you got your information from, where you got this finding from, linked to something that has been published, that people can go to this website and actually see that, oh, of a truth, this thing is a published case and it's a case in view. Right now, you can include your appendix and link, when you're building your references, you can link these things to a published website that people can go and verify. Right now, examples of use cases, you have project status updates. These are like types of reports, right? You have a project status update, you have technical research documentation, you have client delivery summary, right? This client delivery summary is very important, especially if you work remotely, right? If you work with a client, probably you are a social media manager, or you are a UI UX guy, or you are a data analyst. Always ensure that you give clients a delivery summary, right? So when you go on board, the client must have told you that, oh, this is our expectation, these are the deliverables, and then they give you a time frame. Right now, within January till March, we need to see what you can do with our social media platforms. Between January till March, we need to see how your designs can lead to better conversion and better attraction for our company. Now, if you are able to deliver within that time frame, you need to give them a report that this was how you achieved this result. This is how you were able to do it. This is how you went from point A to point B. Now, what does this thing do? It gives the stakeholder, or the owner of the company, an insight into how you got your job done. It also gives people an insight into your process as a professional. Right? What are the processes you take? How do you get your information? What are your processes? How do you start? Do you first of all visualize? Do you mood board? Do you need to do some research? Right now, in your report and in your delivery report, always ensure that you let people have a first-hand view into the time and the effort that you put into getting the job done. Because it's one thing to get a job done, and it's another thing to be a part of the job. Because for platforms like Fiverr, where you can actually outsource projects and not even be a part of the project, people are very skeptical about getting projects done that you cannot defend. Now, another thing we report is that this is when you are able to defend what you've done. This is when you are able to defend the job that you've done. Now, if you're pitching for promotions, it is through your report that you can tell people why you should be promoted. Having done this, and this is why I feel I am due for a promotion. It is through your report. right? Now you get these things done through your report. Now what's the next thing? Professional messaging. Like professional messaging, we have chats or instant messaging, right? Now, what are professional messaging? You're trying to text your team member, you're working remotely, and you need to get your ideas across, you need to get your information across, you need to be able to text your teammates on, the meeting summary, you need to be able to give a meeting report or a minutes of the meeting. Now, these are types of professional messaging, right? We have chats or you have instant messaging tools like WhatsApp. These are digital platforms that we can use. And in yesterday's class, we talked about digital ethics, digital communication ethics, right? So I hope that that information is still fresh in our head. And if you missed yesterday's class, kindly go through our YouTube channel to watch them, right? And if you missed any of our classes at all, please go through our channel to watch them. I think day one should be uploaded by now, because before this class started, I got information that they were uploading it. So I am presuming that it should have been uploaded on our website, on our YouTube channel, right? Day 2 and day 3 will be uploaded as soon as possible, because of the depth of the magnitude of the megabytes, right? It always takes a very long time for it to upload, but however, I'm sure that it should be uploaded, right? So if you missed any of our classes, please go through them. It is important that when you are you're building a skill for yourself, that you are part of the building process. You don't just enroll for a course, disappear, and come back to collect certificate. You're not doing yourself any good. The person who is teaching you has it in their head. It is you that needs it, that will stay committed to the process. All right. So if you missed yesterday's class on professional messaging, I'm not going to dwell on that because I treated it extensively yesterday. Right. So watch that one and then link it to what we are saying now. Now, in remote and hybrid work environments, instant messaging tools like WhatsApp, Slack, or Microsoft Teams are commonly used, right? So in your work environment, most of the time people use WhatsApp. You have WhatsApp group for your team members, you have a WhatsApp community, but then for professionals, like some tech professionals prefer Slack or Discord, right? Because it gives you room to create other channels and just keep your chats organized, right? But then if you're using professional messaging platforms, there are some guidelines. The first one is to be brief and clear, right? Especially on WhatsApp. I told us yesterday, you can't send me a WhatsApp message and I'm seeing read more, and it's a professional message. I'm seeing after the first read more, I'm seeing read more again. After the second read more, I'm seeing another read more. What? Just call me and tell me this thing, this album you're typing for me. Call me and tell me, right? Texting has to be short, simple, and straight to the point. But don't use texting to convey all your sorrows. If you want to actually have a conversation with people, and then there are people that probably have established that they are okay with voice notes, even in your voice note, right? You can break it down in sessions. Don't do voice note of 20 minutes to somebody that is not your loved one. You're not recording album in studio, because people don't even have 20 minutes to sit down and listen to your VN, except if it's your loved one, if it's somebody that just likes hearing your voice. But then you are working professionally with people. Don't go and be recording VN of 20 minutes because you want to express yourself, because WhatsApp has given you free voice recording tool. I don't have to spend money to call the person. So you now use 20 minutes to record something and expect somebody to sit down for 20 minutes and be hearing your voice. And probably because people are not romantically involved, your voice will be sounding like a broken vessel in their ear. Because to them, why the hell would I sit down for 20 minutes and listen to you talk when I cannot even give a reply instantly? Why not have a call? You talk, I talk, we hear ourselves, we come to a conclusion. But you send voice note 20 minutes, I sit down 20 minutes and listen, and I'll record another 20 minutes and give you. You now sit down 20 minutes and listen, you now record another 20 minutes and give me. That doesn't work anywhere. So don't do that, right? Now, maintain professionalism. That's the second one. Avoid overly casual language or slang in professional chats, especially if you have not established a relationship with this person. Right now, we have professional relationships where you guys are probably team members or teammates, and then you've been able to cross or have a soft landing, right? So in these conversations with this person, oh, they can be excuses, they can be little, oh boy, how you day now, oh boy, how your day they go now, now. Oh my guy, they see this thing where they try tackle like this, they see this code. I don't they try code, I know they enter. That person is your guy, your friend, your G, right? But that you get into a job immediately and you are working in a company, maybe your first 1 month, avoid overly casual language, even if other people are being casual with them, because you can be in a team of people and you realize that, oh, everybody is being casual, everybody is being friendly and stuff, and you've not established relationship with somebody, and you go and call the person oh boy, he will warn you, don't try it, I'm not your oh boy. Or you go and call a married woman dear, or because maybe you are used to calling all your female friends babe, you now go and call your team member that has a fiancé babe and she wait for you outside the gate and use 10 minutes to explain to you why she's not your babe, because you did not set and maintain professional boundaries, right? So when you're putting up your communication in a professional setting, understand the duration of the relationship first before you cross certain boundaries. This person I want to type babe to, or dear, how have we been able to build a relationship that makes this person know that I'm not trying to insult you, I'm not trying to cross the line, I just see you as my friend, right? Because even if you are being friendly and a person does not interpret your friendliness as being friendly, they can get offended, they can pick offense, and they can warn you seriously. And then when they have warned you like that, you now enter inside your shell and feel like this person doesn't like me. No, you are the one that doesn't understand professional ethics, especially when it comes to messaging. So keep your messages professional. Let them read it and not tell you, oh, I think you're being really professional, or you're sounding so professional. I mean, we are friends. Now they've given you a window. Okay, you can soft pedal. But that you now enter and you're calling everybody my guy, my G, my babe, my this one, my that one, and they start warning you up and down. You self, shame will not even allow you to even grow the friendship. And then because you've already had a bad experience with them, you treat them based on that bad experience, but you're the one that doesn't have professional ethics at the back of your mind and how not to cross certain lines too early, right? Now let's look at using emojis like emoticons, right? Use it sparingly. While they can add tune, overusing them may appear unprofessional. You write 8 lines, there are 15 emojis inside. Are you a clown? Even if you're a clown, it's not every time that you should do for that Christmas outside. You write 8 lines of a text, and in every line there are emojis. The person is struggling between understanding the emoji and understanding your message. Once I open it like this, it looks like a Christmas message from somebody that is supposed to be a teammate. It looks like a Christmas message from somebody that's supposed to be giving me professional information. So in between the reading process, I'm struggling between understanding what you're saying and understanding your emoticons. Then that thing is not professional. So even if you want to use emojis, use them sparingly, once in a while, once in a very long while. Then the next thing is to acknowledge messages. I told us yesterday, respond promptly, right? Even if it's just to confirm your receipt. Now, example of confirming receipt is got it, thank you, or I got it, thank you. Somebody sends you an email, you know you're not going to respond immediately. You leave the email there. And you're not even leaving it there to come back after some hours, sometimes after some days. And it's supposed to be a treat as urgent message. And even in the treat as urgent messages that we receive, most times don't even treat it as urgent, because we have always built that mindset that I will come back to it. I can do it at my time. I'll do it when I like. But it doesn't give off a professional image about you. It makes people feel like you are being disrespectful. So when you receive an image, acknowledge it. Received with thanks, or seen, or got it, thank you. Right? So that the person knows that, okay, their message is well received. It also helps them in measuring feedback, because anything can happen in between sending that message. Network might have, hung the message in the air. Probably they didn't have data for the message to deliver, or even if the message delivered, they don't know if your device is functioning, so that they can ask for a follow-up email that they can send it to. These are the things that giving people feedback helps them, mitigate. These are the mental pressures it takes away from people. Because if a person sends you an email and they don't get a feedback, you keep them in a mental trap. Did she receive it? Is she working on it? What can I do if she doesn't receive this email? What if she comes tomorrow and tells me, I did not see it though. You sent me a mail. Are you sure? Oh, let me go and check. It doesn't make any sense. You're not helping that person to be productive. Instead, you're adding to the person's list of worries. So if you're going to maintain professionalism, once you receive a message, because you know that this is a high-stakes situation, your response is a high-stakes situation. And I told us what high-stakes situations are, that there are people involved in this decision-making process. There are people involved in this process. These people need to use your feedback to be able to make informed decisions. They need to use your feedback to be able to make progress, right? So if you know that your feedback and so much about the company depends on your feedback, please give feedback. It can be as little as received with thanks, or received thank you, or I'll get at it immediately, right? Always let people know that they're not talking to the air, especially in a professional context. There's no need to be snobbish, right? Now, what's the next thing we're looking at? Now, what are the do's and don'ts for writing, for clear writing? Right now, the do's: plan before writing. Yesterday, I told us about mind mapping, right? Sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? What is the best approach to use in saying it? Plan. Don't just open your phone and start typing as it comes to your mind. And then when you're done, you press send. And you say, I've said it. I've said it now. Can't beat me. I've said it. This thing you just said, is it coherent? Is it going to infuse the change that you want? Is it going to spark the action that you need? Most times, if you don't sit down to plan, you won't even know that the message you're sending is a message that requires a call to action. So because you didn't plan it, you missed the call to action. You send the message blank. The person receives it, probably reacts, and that's it. Because you didn't sit down to think of, okay, this thing I'm saying now, what is my desired reaction from this person's, receiving this message? What do I want this person to do? Do I want them to, give me a feedback, or do I want them to take an action? What is my call to action? So most times, planning before writing helps you mitigate against all of these unnecessary mistakes, or you having to now, because at the end of the day, when the first one wasn't received, you now say, just to add, my dear, kindly add this one to it. Please submit before 10 o'clock. Because you didn't sit down to plan. You just went straight. It came to your head. You wrote it and sent. Sit down and plan your message. Now, also, when you want to ensure clarity in writing, use simple language. Don't be in that space where you want to write an email to somebody and they need to keep 3 dictionary by the side, one Oxford dictionary and one French dictionary, because you watched a movie and got a new word, or probably you read through a document and saw a new word. You want to infuse it into your email. Even if it corresponds or not, you must put it, because you are improving. Nobody cares if you're improving or not. What they want is that they can understand you. They want clarity. They don't need to use your email to vet that you have improved, right? Do what you need to do. And what do you need to do? Avoid jargon or overly complex terms unless necessary, except probably you're doing a technical documentation, right? For people that write user manuals, for people that write application manuals, now you have to make it technical. You have to help people, right, understand that there are technical processes to this, but always also use analogies. In one of our classes, we talked about analogies. Always use analogies to ensure that even if this person has to go through the hassle of reading the technical document, that your analogy gives them a clearer understanding of what you are trying to talk about without leaving them confused. All right, so avoid overly embedded words, you overly jargon embedded words or overly ambiguous words. Keep it simple. Right now, proofread. A lot of things happen in proofreading. Sometimes you're proofreading something, you finish reading it like 15 times. It's when you send it that you now realize that you called the person. You said how are you instead of how are you. You've written HOE, are you, but in your mind you read how are you. Then the person will now read it with anger and say, you called me a hoe. You did call me a hoe. Fight has started, oh. Because you could have done your due diligence by proofreading, but most times one thing proofreading does for us is that we read it in our minds and think that we typed it the same way we are reading it. So when you don't take your time to actually look at the spellings and the things that you've put in there, you might actually type how are you, HOE. The person will now read it with anger and say, wow, Marigold called me a hoe. Tomorrow they come to work and they are carrying 2 bazooka. They want to shoot you because you called me, who are you? Right? So always ensure that you proofread. Sometimes these mistakes are inevitable, right? Because we are not perfect, right? It happens to the best of us. But the much that you can, proofread as many times as possible. Now, one key hack about proofreading is that start reading it from the back. If you're proofreading, don't read in a linear form. Read from the back. Now, when you read from the back, you don't have a flow as to what is expected. You are able to see every word as it is. Now, let me say, for instance, I said always check for grammar, spelling, and formatting error. If I'm starting from the back, I'll say errors, formatting, and spelling, grammar for check always. It doesn't make any sense. But now I can see each word as they are. Okay, errors, formatting, I can see it's correct. And spelling, grammar for check always. Right? That way I can spot every word as it should be. But if I say always check for grammar, spelling, and formatting errors, because I'm the one that created the document, I already know what it should sound like. Doesn't mean that that's how I typed it. And so in most cases, we think that we read something only for us to go back and see that the thing did not come out the way we read it. There are certain mistakes that we actually infused, that when we read it, we did not see those mistakes. So the best way to proofread is to start from the back, right? Start against the clock, anti-clockwise. Don't go towards the clock. Read behind. Read it against the normal flow. Then that way you can see what you are reading. You can see the spelling of each word, and it can help you greatly. Number 4 is be polite and respectful. Use a professional tune, even in difficult conversations. I think one of our classes we're going to be looking at difficult conversations, and this is one place that a lot of professionals miss it, even the best of us. Because difficult conversations are high emotion conversations. And I told us that emotions are not just love. They can be anger, they can be pain, they can be regret, they can be somebody taking you for granted and you're trying to express yourself. But in those moments of having difficult conversations, you need to ask yourself, please, how can I manage my emotion? How can I be able to articulate how I feel without losing my tune, without being disrespectful, without insulting this person? Because a lot of people, in the bid that they are trying to, express how they feel, they start crossing the line. They start using certain hurt words or curse words. And then the person leaves the problem they are trying to solve and start addressing your curse words. And then if, because you're already angry, you can now say, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. You don't have a right to say that to me. Now, the issue is already escalating because you are not able to stay polite and respectful. It's one thing when a person is communicating a grievance, and it's another thing for you to be open-minded enough to understand it from the point at which they are communicating it. Because I can be communicating something to you and you're not seeing the angle. You're not seeing the perspective. You're coming to the point of conflict resolution with a closed mind. And so you feel like this person is attacking me. No, you're not seeing how your actions made them feel. So when you are trying to, even resolve a conflict in written document, always make sure that your tune is polite. So because you're quarreling with somebody, maybe your team lead, a person that you're naturally supposed to greet before you start talking, you say, John, I just want to tell you that you're very stupid. John, you are stupid. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Right? And you've already lost it. Because no matter what you have to say, even if you take it to a law court, everybody is going to hold you responsible for actually, sounding like somebody that didn't go to the 4 walls of a university, simply because you don't know how to manage your emotions during difficult conversations. Now, I'm seeing some comments in the chat, right? I have to just respond to them. So somebody said, or those that who often respond with KK or K, that it is another level of disrespect to a human being that you use K. What is K? Oh yeah, put O now, put P, put M. Let's know that you are doing alphabetical replies. Those things are not professional. Always ensure that when you are trying to reply a person's message, write things the way they should be written. Okay, noted, thank you. Or you're trying to form touche, it's fine. Or sin. Or K. What is K? K what? It doesn't make any sense, right? And the person also said it's best you don't respond to my email than all that, all those dumb KK. Seriously, it is actually. It's better that you don't respond than dumbly coming to put K for somebody. What is K? It shows that you are probably an arrogant person or you don't know how to type okay. But then we all know that, you know, the case is always the pot of you being an arrogant person, because it's only arrogance that makes you type or reply to somebody with K. Don't do that. Even in an emotional conflict resolution, you can't use K to respond to somebody. Now, the fifth one is adapt to your audience. Adjust your tune and complexity based on who you are addressing, right? But this thing is also important that we note that irrespective of who you are addressing, always try to sound professional and respectful. Two words, professional and respectful. I always try to give us an emphasis of what we do here at the Law Academy. There is no time we would either not make it to a class or not be able to, you know, handle a session the way it should be handled, that we don't apologize. Now, normally we started with using StreamYard and YouTube. For some awkwardly strange reason, StreamYard has refused to allow me copy links. And I'm going to write to them because I don't know why I cannot copy links and share, right? But then I have to apologize to people because I feel like these people have emotions and these emotions should be managed. There's some people that prefer entering the studio in StreamYard because it allows them talk. Now they just have to listen and type. So for some people, the experience is not wholesome. The wholesome part of it is being able to have a conversation. And for me, who is a communications trainer, I need to know that people are not going back into what is Okay, sorry, can somebody confirm that they can hear me now? Please, can you confirm that you can hear me? Please, can somebody confirm that they can hear me? My network flipped. I don't know why it flipped. Maybe it has gone to party this evening. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Today is Friday. My network wants to go and do TGIF, but God do not agree because this network cannot disgrace me. So, where did I stop? Right. So you have to ensure that what's it called? You are able to effectively manage people's emotions, because it's a free class doesn't mean that, oh, when we have issues like these network issues, I don't come and apologize, oh, I'm so sorry for that. Because you're dealing with people, they have their own time, they have what they're supposed to do with their time. So when you're communicating with people, whether it's a written communication or a verbal communication, always ensure that you please respect people's opinions, you respect their emotions. So somebody said, welcome back, thank you. Christiana, you said you can't hear me. How? Please, who else cannot hear me? Can somebody help me confirm that they can hear me, please? Because I just saw now that somebody said they can hear me. So if you cannot hear me, kindly help me confirm that you can hear me, please. Please, can somebody confirm that they can hear me? Okay, thank you, Riola. Thank you very much for that. All right, so I'm just going to try to read some of the messages in the chat before we get into the last two slides that we have, right? So somebody said, I guess contractions and all forms of these are all informal. Why then should a normal person still add them to professional write-ups? Okay, I don't really understand what you said. You said, I guess contractions and all forms of these are all informal, right? Why then should a normal person still add them to professional write-ups? So I'm trying to link what you said now to the conversation we are having, but if you can better explain for context, then it's going to help us understand where you're coming from. This is to Oriola, right? Christiana, you said, I've discovered that a lot of people don't manage their emotions well. Yes, they don't. And emotional intelligence is one thing that every single professional must strive to have, right? Because at the tail end of everything, you are dealing with human beings, real people, real problem. And these people relate to you based on how they feel. A person relates with you based on how they feel. And sometimes those feelings are built during the initial stage of the professional relationship. All right. So let's quickly get into, the do's and don'ts. Like I said, don'ts. Under the don'ts, we have avoid long sentences. Keep the sentences short and easy to read. Don't use all caps. It comes across as shouting, right? I know I mentioned this yesterday, but it is very wrong for you to type to somebody like this: urgent, please respond now. Why are you shouting at me? Nobody will see this type of email or this type of subject and take you seriously, because why are you shouting at me? Always ensure that your formatting is in sync, right? Now, don't do this. Don't type with all caps, no matter the situation. Number 3, avoid ambiguity. I know we've talked about this. Be specific, right? Be specific about dates, taxes, and responsibility. Don't keep people in the dark with big words. Simplify it and let them know what they ought to do per time. Number 4, refrain from overloading information, right? Don't overload your text. Don't make your text content overly wordy. I told us that the wordy is WORDLY. Don't make it overly wordy. People read it and they are going to read more. Read more what? Right? Now, the fifth thing is, don't forget to respond, right? Under your don'ts, don't forget to respond. Don't forget to give a feedback. Now, a response is simply giving people feedback, right? Okay, you said contractions like KK and BTW can't, I am are the words I was referring to. Okay, to be informal in above comments. Oh, all right then, now I understand you. Yes, those things don't make sense, right? What is KK? What is BTW? I mean, see, sometimes in professional writing, please write the full word. Write the full word. Write it there. It's the same data it will take when you write K and when you write OK. It's not like when you write K, then you use 1 MB to send it, and when you write OK, you use 10 MB. So you want to remove the K A Y so that you can only. I mean, that's illiteracy in the highest form of it. It is the same amount of data. It is the same amount of energy. It is the same thing it will take you to write well. So why would you choose not to write well? Write well, right? So always, especially in a formal setting, when you're talking to people who are not your friends. With your friends, you can write K. You can write how do they put that in again? Kindly let me know. Is it all K, L, what's K? Those silly abbreviations that keep you confused. You can do that with your Gen Z friends, but not in a professional setting. All right. So what's the next thing? Practical tips for effective written communication. Use formatting, right? Bold, italics, or bullet points make key information stand out. Use call to actions. Always include specific next steps, right? Example of call to actions is please review this by Friday and provide feedback. Those are like specific call to actions. Tune awareness. Always make sure that you sound properly. Avoid harsh or overly casual tunes that can be misinterpreted, right? Always ensure that you do not use overly harsh words or overly casual words that can be misinterpreted, right? Some people don't like it when you don't keep it professional with them, especially at the beginnings of what you're doing, right? So with that, we've come to the end of today's class, right? We've come to the end of today's class, and I really hope that these foundations, we would use them in our professional writing context, right? This slide is going to be made available to us. I remember in yesterday's class, I requested that we please, people that have been consistent in class, kindly let us know the slides that we've not shared. We're not going to use those slides and do anything. It's not like we're going to use it and sell it. No, it's for you, right? But because we have shared a couple of things, or probably I'll just personally take my time to go through the WhatsApp group and see the classes that we've shared and just ask them to share the remaining ones, right? So then if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box, right? I don't like this put it in the chat box thing. It's really pissing me off. I've missed hearing all of you's voices. I've sincerely missed having interactions because I felt like our earlier classes when I could hear your voices were more interactive. This one feels like a sermon on the mount, right? Okay, you have a question. Is it proper to inform an employer that you will not be taking a job after attending an interview? Of course, it's proper. Now you have to inform them that you're not going to be taking the job, and also give them reasons why you're not going to be taking the job, right? You attended an interview doesn't mean you accepted the job. It's a different thing when you probably consented to taking the job, and then maybe after 1 week you now go and say I'm not doing again. Then that one is wrong, because you're going to put them through the hiring process again. But that you went for an interview and probably the terms and conditions are not things you can live with, or they are not things you can work with, or the working condition is not going to allow you flourish. Please, my dear, it's very proper. Inform them, right? Make sure that you give them reasons why you cannot take on with the project, or you cannot take on with the job, and always do that within a stipulated time frame. So if the contract says you should resume on Monday, and by Friday you know that you're not going to take the job, write them that Friday. Don't wait till Sunday evening 11:59 and start writing the person, sir, please, I hope this mail finds you well. This is to inform me that I won't be resuming. You have already scattered the person's plan and you've closed that relationship, right? So in trying to decline, always make sure that your decline is within a time frame and you're giving the person reasons as to why you feel like this is not a good offer or this is not a good working condition for you, but do it respectfully. Now probably you are on the interview and realize that the person is somebody that speaks in a very
demeaning way. Don't go and say, sir, you're very insultive. I cannot imagine that I was on an interview with you for less than 30 minutes and you have insulted me 26 times. No, you can actually keep it professional, but then due to some personal reasons, I don't think I'll be taking on the job. Not even I don't think, due to some personal reasons, I kindly will not be accepting this job. And then because you know that the issue is an attitude issue, you wouldn't want to point it to them that, oh, sir, you are very insultive. That's where emotional intelligence comes from. But if it's that the working condition is not healthy, let me say 9 to 9 you're at work, you can actually outline it there that due to some working conditions such as resuming by 9 and ending by 9, I will not be able to carry on with this job. Now the person would ask, if it's somebody that really wants you on the job, they would ask you, what are the favorable times, right? What time can we, let's see how we can strike a compromise. Probably they've seen that, oh, you're really good at what you do, right? And then they know that they don't want to lose you, so they can ask you, let's see how we can strike a compromise. And that's why it's important that if you are rejecting a job, give them the reason, so that if it's a reason that they can be flexible with, they can see how they can accommodate you into, their company plans, and see if there are things that they can move the needle for you for. But if it's a character issue, just keep it straight that you're not going to accept it and leave it there. Don't go and say you want to express yourself and tell the man that you have bad character. It's not me that sent you. I did not tell you that one. Please, who else has another question? And then I hope that answers your question, Sekibo. If it did answer your question, kindly put that in the chat box so that we know how we can move forward from there. And if you have any further questions, you can also add that in the chat box, or if you still need clarity, please put it in the chat box, right? So if you have any extra questions, kindly put that in the chat box, right? Oh, it did answer your question. I'm glad it did. Well done. So if you have any questions or you have a contribution, kindly type your contribution in the chat box and I'll read it out. Hopefully, I pray that by tomorrow, StreamYard allows me to hear your voices, because I've missed adding somebody to the stage and just hearing someone else talk. When we could do that, it was really interactive. I really did enjoy it. I really did hearing you people make progress, right? So please, if you have any further questions, you can put it in the chat box. Now we are slowly and gradually rounding up this course. Today is day 10. Tomorrow is day 11. By the time you know it, we're done. Now, it's important that after you take a course like this, don't just dump the lessons. And that's why we are doing everything we can to make sure that the recordings are available for you and they are open for you. So you could always come back and watch them, always come back and refresh your memory. You might not need these teachings immediately, right? At the time when you're taking these teachings, right, always ensure, okay, Favor said it answered perfectly. I'm glad it did, right? I'm glad it did. So at the time when you're taking this course, you might not see the need for the course now. But 2 months from now, you might get a job and these things that we've talked about starts playing out. Always ensure that you stay updated with the Law Academy. Always come back to our YouTube to watch these things, right? Always come back to ask questions, because I'm a very open person. I don't operate a closed door kind of teaching style. I mean, I'm the teacher, you're the students, and then once we're done with our classes, it's over. No. I feel like if I put in the work to improve and become a better communicator, it is my duty to be able to hold you by the hand and see you become better. Because like I would always say, this is part of our corporate social responsibility. This is what we are doing to give back to the society. So please, by all means, for the persons who are part of this cohort, it's not that you now go and bring your friend that is not part of this cohort and say, the Law Academy say that they used to teach for free. I don't teach for free. Please, I'll put it in the chat box. I do not teach for free. I don't even do mentorship for free. Let me shout to so people can hear it. I don't do consulting for free. Don't go and gather your village people and say, may we go to college to teach for free. It's not true. This one that we are doing for free is because it is our corporate social responsibility, and we are seeing how we can streamline it to maybe 2 times in a year. So anybody that you want to come and learn for free, they should keep an eye for our content. From next year, we're going to be very big on pushing out a lot of content on social media. So tell the person to keep an eye for our content, right? Nowhere we are going to be announcing the free sections of our classes. But it's not that because this thing is corporate social responsibility, you now go and gather all your loved ones, your village people, your uncle, your auntie, and say, go and meet the law academy. They are for that Christmas. We are not for that Christmas, so we dey collect money. Make I use broken in case you people like using broken to understand the thing. We dey charge, oh. So now that you have the opportunity to have access to me for free, ask me all your questions, go through the classes, right? When you go through the classes and you feel like you have any challenge, please come and ask me. Don't feel like, oh, let me just figure it out by myself. There is always room for you to be able to be guided, right? Especially if you're an entry-level professional. So if you don't have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to end this class like now because I need to sleep, right? I just came back from work. I'm still wearing my work clothes since morning. I need to rest. So please, if you don't have any questions, you don't have any contributions, kindly let me know. I'm going to give like, in this class should be done by the next 5 minutes. So this 5 minutes we allow us some time to think deeply, even if you don't have questions on today's class, right? Because we are slowly coming to an end of the course, it is important that we make room for people to ask questions from every, right? So even if you don't have questions from today's class, try to ask questions that are bothering you on communication, right? So if you have any challenge in terms of communicating, you have any issues that you are dealing with in terms of communicating, please use this avenue to ask questions. So Sharon, are you saying yes? Like, yes, do you have a question, or yes, what? Okay, you said Christiana said she's glad to be a part of this amazing journey. Yeah, I'm also very glad to meet professionals like Christiana, right? So during our graduation, I'm actually going to announce a few students who stayed committed to the process. Now, it's one thing to start a journey and to stay committed. Those people that are going to receive certificates without me sending you back to YouTube are the people I consider our finalists. People that stayed true. At some point, I even had their names at the back of my head. Like, once I come to class, there are people I'm expecting to see. And if I don't see them, I feel very bad. I have to even go and look for them. I remember the very first day, like the very, very first day that we're supposed to start this class. It was Christiana that was the only person that showed up early. And because of that, I made sure that I told my team members, this person, go and ask the person if they received our email, because little things are telltale signs that a person is actually serious about something, right? So Christiana, well done. That alone spoke a very huge, it just gave a very huge thumbs up to you and what you represent as a professional. So for every other person listening to me, please, I beg you, don't undermine free things. Some persons probably started this class when they saw the our social media posts about organizing a free class, and they felt like na so free people they do. They go say na free. At the end of the day, they go chook one thing inside where you go take pay money. We are not looking for money. We are looking for impact. If we are designing a program and saying that this is what we want to do to empower professionals, then it means that we've also sat down to look at the cost implication. So we're not losing anything. We're apparently not losing anything. Instead, you are the one that is here to gain. So gain as much as you can gain by asking as many questions as you want to ask, right? So we have less than 2 minutes to ask these questions. At exactly 1 hour 20 minutes, I'm going to end it. So he said, what is the best way to tell someone who doesn't